Good morning to you from a random art room, just for the start of this video anyway. Today I thought I would do some tips for first year OTs, so keep watching. Getting a little bit of printing done, so printing up session plans for this Okay, one piece of advice for first year is get good at referencing. There's so many assignments, at least at my university, where most assignments where there is referencing, you get marks for referencing, but I've had multiple cases of the only marks I've lost are because I made a small mistake in referencing where I was supposed to do a full stop then a comma, and I've forgotten the comma, I've forgotten the full stop. Just get really good at it, or find software that's reliable and that can help you out. Make sure you know the type of referencing, because I know different subjects or different fields like psychology might use different ones than sociology or what have you. And my uni has a referencing guide, so if your uni has that, check that out. If this is your first year at university, especially on big campuses, or if you're going between campuses, and there are map apps available, they're really helpful. You can just type in the building code, it can give you directions, show you sometimes how long it's going to take you to get there, and it's just really helpful. We've seen so many people at orientation week with maps, physical paper maps. So if you can find a digital copy of the map or an app for your university, it'll save you a lot of time. Another tip for first year, we have a lot of group work. Find a group of people that have the same work ethic, similar academic goals. You don't want to end up at the end of the assignment realizing that they had completely different academic goals. They were just in it to pass and you were wanting to get top marks, or the other way around. You don't want to let down your team. We have group work through all the years, it appears. So the first year, maybe try a few different combinations of people. Have a good maybe even group of 6, because you might have assignments with 2 people, 3 people, 4 people, 6 people, 5 people. Try different combinations, know who you work best with, and these might be people that are different to who you study best with. So keep that in mind. And don't be afraid to have different social groups to different assignment groups. You may find a really good group of people you work really well, and they might not be your best friends in your course, and that's okay. Another piece of advice is to go see your lecturers and your tutors in their office hours, or whatever they may call them, if you have questions, or email them if that's something they've said that they're fine with. Don't let yourself wallow in, oh my god, I don't know the answer, it's not in the textbook, I'm never going to pass. Go ask them. They're happy to help usually. Use them. Make sure, write questions to quickly see them before the lecture or after the lecture, or in tutorials. Especially in tutorials, tutors are definitely there to answer your questions. And in anatomy pracs, this is kind of linking on to another piece of advice, but come with a list of questions ready to grab a tutor. I know in our anatomy practicals, so it was kind of hard to grab someone, and when you do, make use of that time. Make sure you use your time wisely with the tutors. So make sure you have a list of questions, or you know what you want to ask or discuss or look at. Use your time wisely in anatomy lab. That's the tip. I think my number one tip, or my first tip, is definitely in the first few years there's going to be a lot of theory, and that's something I hear first years and second years kind of complain about. Like, oh, there's just so much theory, and at times it can feel kind of boring or dull, and if it's not delivered in a very entertaining way, students can really feel kind of disheartened, or this is not what I thought it was going to be necessarily. And you just have to remind yourself, if you ever feel like this, that almost anything you study or you do has a theoretical foundation, and you're going to have to learn some theory in the meantime. But honestly, when you get into placement and practicals, and you do have more practical experiences and case studies that make it feel more real, you need that theoretical basis. You need it. You need your anatomy. People also can struggle to understand why we need to do anatomy in OT. I hear a lot of people complain, and I probably did as well, about anatomy in first year, because it can be tough. I would probably say it can really dishearten people in the first year if they really struggle with it. They can think, this is too hard, I can't do this. But you can. Whether you have to take the course again, or you get a tutor, or you find a really good study group, I believe in you, you can pass it, you can do it. But also people saying, oh, why do we have to learn anatomy? Like, I don't even get it. But if you're wanting to be a hand therapist, of course you're gonna need anatomy. It underpins, like, I don't know how to even explain it, it just kind of makes sense. Everything we do, especially if we're talking and working in hospital settings and other settings with other healthcare practitioners, it's a universal language that we can all speak and understand each other, that we just have an understanding of bodily functions and how muscles work, bones work, can help us better understand our clients or patients. If we're in a hospital setting, we're more likely to call them patients. Help us to understand what they're going through. Then we do physiology, help us understand also medications that our clients may be on and how that could be affecting them right now, understanding the progression of different conditions and diseases, understanding how the brain works, of course, not just when you're working in mental health, but understanding cognition, because we can be working in different rehab settings where we're doing memory retraining or doing other cognitive strategies. We need to have the space of knowledge, understanding how the body works. Put your head down, do it, you can do it, I believe. If you want more anatomy tips, then I could probably get a group of us together and write a list. Okay, so another piece of advice is to use your end of semester course feedback or review surveys. So we call them CCAT, Student Evaluation Course. I'm not even sure what it stands for, but we asked to do them for each of our courses at the end of the semester. This is an opportunity to give feedback about how the course was run, different aspects that maybe didn't run as smoothly or you really loved and think they should continue. Students have a habit of having all these opinions about how the course is going, maybe how the lecture is going, how that piece of assessment was. But when given the outlet to actually give this feedback and turn it into something constructive and share their ideas that they might have as well, they don't always actually fill out the course evaluation surveys. But come on guys, if you've got feedback and you've got all these great ideas, use them. And you might be lucky enough, I hear at some universities they get credit for filling out their surveys. I was talking to a new lecturer late last year when the surveys and feedback were coming in, and she was really excited to hear the feedback and see what everyone thought. So, you know what? Take 5-10 minutes, just get it done. Just do it. This year, if it's your first year, is a great time, if you haven't already, to be testing out different study methods to see what works for you, whether it's going to be flashcards, online flashcards, like things like Anki or Quizlet. Quizlet's a website, Anki is a program on your computer. Whether it's rote learning, writing things down, whether it's talking aloud. For myself, it's teaching aloud to an imaginary class. So verbalizing my thoughts. Sometimes it's writing things out on a whiteboard, rubbing them off, doing it again a few times and saying it aloud like I'm teaching. So this is a great time to trial different study methods if you haven't already figured out what works best for you. Something else that's important to start figuring out is your balance between studying and social activities. So take a look at your timetable now, and it might take a few weeks to kind of settle in and get the flow of how much time you really have outside of uni work, and see if you can slot in some social activities here and there. You don't want to be a hermit and studying all the time and graduate uni and be like, oh gosh, I wish I got to know all these people better, or I wish I had participated in that society or at that event. Or just make sure you have a balance. I know easier said than done, but try, if your uni has an OT association or an allied health association, see what events they're holding, talk to the people around you, what do they do, you know, to relax, or what social events do they go to, see what's right for you, try things out. Yeah. work-life balance and all that. I think the most important tip I have for first year to really get you through the entire year is to subscribe. So those have been my tips for first year OT students. I have a bunch more, so if you want a part 2 video, I'm up for making that. Thank you so much for watching. Like, subscribe, share, and I'll see you next time. Bye.